Everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. We were only gone for it wasn't that long, guys. We didn't have that much delay in between, but we're back. We have some big news come up, so we definitely will talk about that, and going over our top plays of the year here. But you know what it is? This Tape Don't Lie. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We just passed 3K subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Definitely love. It's like I know people are checking out that Christian Barmore video. We're gonna put out more draft stuff coming up. So the draft's coming up. We got some free agency stuff. So we're gonna be hitting you with everything. This off season. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Me at the Mark John NFL. Then you got at BD Williams 18, my man BD over here. So, it is Tape Don't Lie. We're gonna be hitting you with all that good stuff. And we got some big news, BD. Got big news. Mr. Defensive Guy.
Yeah. Big news.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I would give the move on a scale from 1 to 10. I give it a 7, solid 7. Okay. Gus
Okay.
Bradley, for those who have been, maybe not paying attention to football since Raiders aren't in the playoff hunt anymore. Gus Bradley just got hired as the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. He does have a track record of success. Okay. Started off with Seattle. When Pete Carroll came in, he was already the defensive coordinator, and Pete Carroll kept him, right? And together they kind of created what went on to become the Legion of Boom. His last year in Seattle, he had like the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL before he became a head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He wasn't so hot as a head coach. Obviously, his defenses never really, came to fruition over there. But if you look at the talent that he assembled, I guess it was like that following year that after he got fired, they went within 1 game of the Super Bowl off the back of that defense, and those were the people that he got in there that he wanted to run his defense, and the defensive coordinator who came after him was his guy, it was his former defensive line coach in Seattle. So they were running the same defense. It's just Gus Bradley was no longer in charge of the operation over there. So I think that does bode well. The kind of at the very least developing players and getting them to make an impact. He's got a track record of that, and I think that's what Raiders fans should be the most excited about, is that everywhere this guy has gone, Gus Bradley, we're talking about mid to late round picks turning into Pro Bowl players, like everywhere. He last did it with Desmond King, who is he a safety? Is he a nickel? Is he a corner? Out of Iowa, and in his third year in Gus Bradley's defense, he was all pro, safety. And obviously, you can look at the Jalen Ramseys and the Earl Thomases and the Derwin James. Like, those guys they were going to be good probably no matter who coached them up. You know what I'm saying? But they all, but it's littered. If you were a high round pick, you played really, really well. And if you were a mid round pick or a late round pick in Gus Bradley's defense, you probably played above your draft status. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that Raiders fans should be excited about. He gets a lot out of guys. So that's probably the biggest thing. How do you feel about it? What do you think?
See, I really like this hire because a lot of the things that you're saying. I mean, I really like that he's going to put the defense, or definitely the DBs, in position. They're not going to be doing anything they don't feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to see much off coverage anymore. I don't think we're going to see very much off coverage. I think we're going to see a lot more press, because we got a whole bunch of press corners just littered around this team. And I really feel like he's going to put Isaiah Johnson versus Damon Arnett and see who wins, who's going to be the guy out there. Because I think he's going to really like Isaiah Johnson. I think he's going to like that length. He's going to like the way he plays press man. He's going to like him. He's really going to like Isaiah. And I think he's going to make Damon and Isaiah battle it out and see who could win. And, then Trayvon is great in press too. You know what I'm saying? So I think they are still a couple of players away, though, in the back end. They got to find somebody that could play some different roles and allow him to have some fun in the safety position too. I think he's going to do that with Abram a little bit, but I think they still need to add somebody else that can do that too. It's going to be tough because they ain't got no cap space, and they're going to have to be cutting a whole bunch of guys to do that. And it's going to be crazy this offseason for them to try to attain players to actually get better on defense. Like, how are they going to do it? Like, are they going to cut a bunch of people? You know, are they going to sacrifice the offensive line to play better defense? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a tug and war this year to make sure they get better. But I think Gus is gonna fit the DBs for sure. I think the DBs are gonna be play better. I think the Raiders actually have, where the actual talent is on this defense for sure is in the back end. Because I mean, we saw Isaiah Johnson have some good sparks. I mean, when he was playing press man though, like it was in press man. It wasn't like when he's playing off. We saw somebody that was struggling a little bit, but when he was in press, he looked like he could play as the NFL. So and that's what I'm saying. Gus is going to see that too, and he's going to be like, let's play some press, and then maybe year 2, year 3. I mean, he might start to fade, but I think year 1, I think we're going to see a little bit of him going in there and making some things happen. So I'm pretty excited about it actually.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Gus Bradley. I mean, everyone thinks he is a cover 3, like the Raiders are going to play nothing but cover 3, right? And that is going to be a big part. Like, that's the base of Gus Bradley's defense is cover 3, okay? And one thing about cover 3 is, you can only play cover 1 so many ways. And we talk about cover 1 a lot on this podcast, where everyone's in man coverage. You have one rat defender in the middle of the field, and then one post defender in on the back end, safety, right? And sometimes you can make maybe a safety that rat defender, and you can put linebackers in man coverage, and that's really the only 2 ways you could play it. You could play cover 1 lurk, where the linebacker is a rat defender, or you can play cover 1 robber, where the safety is the low hole or the rat defender, right? Like, that's it. That's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in cover 3, now you can start moving these guys around and switching things up. You can have basically what I'm trying to say is there's going to be 8 guys in the box, and they are going to switch it up so that sometimes the linebacker is going to be the curl flat defender. Sometimes 2 linebackers are going to be hook defenders, and then a safety is going to be a curl flat defender. Sometimes they're going to play man on the backside. There's so many variations, in comparison to cover 1, while you're still having 8 men in the box, and you are presenting different looks to the offense, okay, while still maintaining an 8-man box, and you can just do it in so many different ways. You can put so much window dressing on it, but at the end of the day, it's all cover 3, which is why these guys, everyone says, it is a simpler scheme. People can play fast. Because they're just basically they're going to cross train, and on any given call, a safety might be a curl flat defender, he might be a seam defender, he might be a hook defender, and they're going to mix and match it, but still play the same coverage that they're used to playing, so that people know when to pass a guy off to the next guy, when are they going to take number 3 vertical, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's something to look out. That's something to look out for. It is going to be their base defense. Cover 3 is going to be the base defense. Okay. Now, what you were talking about before in terms of playing press and playing man. Okay. So nowadays, a lot of cover 3 calls, it's called a cover 3 Mable. Okay. Cover 3 Mable, where you are playing cover 3, like zone concepts to the passing strength or to the wide side of the field. And then on the short side of the field, when the ball's in the hash, if you got, just one wide receiver over there, or just a wide receiver and a tight end or something like that, you're going to play press man on the backside. Okay. So there is going to be plenty of man. Just, you think cover 3, you're going to think, okay, what did I play in high school? Or maybe what do I see on Madden, right? Where people are just dropping to a zone. That's not really how cover 3 works in the NFL. There's very, very, very few instances where you're going to see like a true spot drop. Everyone just drops to a zone cover 3. That's not really how it works. And not just Gus Bradley, but everyone who plays cover 3 in the NFL, they're going to pattern match everyone's looking to buy a man, but they're going to first drop to his spot and then buy a man. So everything is going to turn into man eventually, regardless if it's a zone, right? They're not going to let a guy just run past them and just sit and cover grass in this defense, you know? So there will be plenty of opportunities to play man. So I think that is something that, you know, is something to look forward to. The other thing is, you know, when I was going through just my cursory check of Gus Bradley's defense so far, cover 3 was definitely like, that's what they do on first and second down. And like I said before, they like to switch where the safety is dropping down. Is he dropping down on the hook? Is he dropping down in the flat? Right? Is he dropping down to the passing strength? Is he dropping down away from the passing strength? They like to switch. They like to switch it up a lot, right? But on third downs, okay, they're going to run a whole bunch of different things. They're going to run quarters coverage. They're going to run cover 6, where it's quarters to the field and half field coverage to the to the boundary. They're going to run cover 1. He's got it all in his game, in his game plan. And what Gus Bradley does a really good job of is identifying the tendencies of a defense, okay, the tendencies of an offense, and calling coverages to take away those tendencies. Okay, so really, there's only 2 teams that went for over 300 yards against Gus Bradley this year in passing. All right. And it was Drew Brees and Tom Brady, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You know, like, they've been around. They know how to attack, a big, heavy cover 3 team. Okay.
Yeah.
But the crazy part about it is, if you watch at least the Buccaneers game, it was literally just one guy in coverage that was just getting roasted. Okay. And we talked about this on early in the year. I mistakenly said it was Kenneth Murray, but it was actually Kaiser White. Okay. Tom Brady threw for like 340 yards or something like that. Like, easily 250 of these yards were to the guy Kaiser White was supposed to be covering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like, what are you going to do if you're a defensive coach and your guy is having a really tough game and all your linebackers are hurt? Like, that's something that Gus Bradley had to deal with this last year. So, some of his numbers, maybe you could just look at them at face value and say, okay, he didn't have a great year number wise, even though he did have a great year 2 years ago and then a really good year last year. Right. If you look at how basically they were down to like only 2 linebackers, they played dime so much they couldn't stop the run because they were, they were struggling to field guys. And then when you look at a game where they gave up a lot of yards, one of the only 2 games that they gave up a ton of yards in the passing game, they got a weak leaking coverage and they were doing their best to hide him, but Tom Brady kept on going at him. Right.
Yes.
So, that is just something to think about. Yeah, cover 3 is going to be a big part of this defense, but third and longs, that's when I think Gus Bradley does a really good job. Like, the best quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, they all really struggled to convert on third downs, regardless of the distance. If it was a short third down or a long third down, they all really struggled to convert third downs passes against Gus Bradley's defense, even in a year that was probably not his best year in terms of like total defense. So that's just something to keep an eye out for, Raider Nation.
Yeah. And you know how people attack Gus Bradley and cover 3. It's usually the same kind of concepts they always attack. I mean, the Raiders love 4 verts against them. We talked about that play with Mariota where Mariota missed that, and that was kind of like a big thing for John because he dialed up that 4 verts, which puts that whole coverage, and there was matchups everywhere. The rules, he's playing with the rules, right? Because there's certain rules that they have, BD was explaining it earlier. And if you're a coordinator, you want to play with those rules of cover 3, right? And that goes with even like things like the dagger concept, the Yankee concept, things like that play with the rules because it carries the safety. There's a single high safety. He's got to make a choice. Do I carry the dig or do I carry the post? If I don't carry the post, though, I'm leaving my corner on a one-on-one. He's probably playing outside leverage. He's not playing inside leverage. He's playing outside leverage on the post. Do you leave him by yourself? Like, it's there's a lot of concepts that could put the Raiders in bad situations. And if you have somebody like Jonathan Abram, if maybe he's playing deep safety, which who knows how he thinks of Jonathan Abram, because Jonathan Abram did okay playing in cover three earlier in the year when he had to play single high. He did all right. He didn't look too bad. So we don't know what he's gonna do. But what if he's back there, he starts freelancing? You know what I mean? Like if he starts freelancing back there, it ain't gonna be a good look. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be interesting because I think sometimes they're gonna get torched. It is what it is. But I think some games they're gonna play a lot better than they think we actually saw from this year. I think it's gonna be a little up and down while they learn it, but I think it's gonna put them in the best position to win. To me, in my opinion, because we were talking about it in the DMs earlier. I mean, how well they played in cover three, in SIS, they had like a sports info solutions for anybody who wants to know. I mean, they had a passer rating of 81. They were like seventh in the league. They only had 106 passing attempts in cover three, though, which is like third, like 30th in the NFL,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, right, right. It's a small sample, but the small sample was really good. 57% completion percentage, right? I mean, they didn't allow, they have three interceptions, you know. Um, they played well in cover three. So maybe John knows that. I mean, they got a pretty good analytical team out there. I mean, John might know. He might have thought like, hey, okay, we play really good cover three. Maybe some of these other coverages aren't the best coverages for this defense that I have. Because I'm telling you guys right now, I know people think we're gonna go get these big old free safety, these big old free agents. They are strapped for cash. They got what, $7 million. I mean, even if they start cutting guys, I mean, they're gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be some like $5 million guy there, maybe seven. You know, kind of smaller money guys. I think they're gonna have to be pick up to fill some holes, and then they're gonna have to try to fill some holes in the draft. I don't think this team's gonna be that much different than what we're seeing right now. I think they're gonna. He brought in Gus Bradley because this is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I'm not in John's head, of course, but he probably saw how well this team played in cover three. Let's bring in a cover three guy and see what we can do and see if we can make that happen, because they really have invested a lot in that defense and some of those core defensive spots. And the D line is kind of the wild card in all of this. Is what does the D line look like at the end of the day, and what does Gus Bradley think of Cleveland Farrell and Max Crosby, and how those guys are gonna develop too under him. So Rod Marinelli is still the D line coach. That's not changing. You know, and so that's going to be kind of the dynamic there. But some teams are just going to beat them. I mean, if they play a good team, a good quarterback, he's going to burn them a little bit. It's going to happen because the coverages that they do aren't that exotic, right? They're not going to be the most exotic coverage. You talk about third and long, but even if that does happen, I mean, a good quarterback, like a really good one, you play cover three, you kind of have that as your base. They can do their thing a little bit, I think. So
Yes.
that's the tougher part of it.
I
That's always the
agree.
tougher part of it.
That's why you saw Drew Brees and Tom Brady have the most yards, passing against this cover three team, right? Because they've been around the block. They know where to
Yeah.
go with the ball, right? But that
Yeah.
being said, I think that the other part of this that Raiders fans should be excited about is Gus Bradley has been game planning in the division, namely against Patrick Mahomes. And consistently, if you go back through Patrick Mahomes' game logs, okay, consistently he has hit some of his lowest, completion percentages and yards and, yards per attempt, all that stuff, quarterback rating against Gus Bradley's defense through the last 3 years. Okay. So I think that is something that, should excite Raiders fans.
Yeah.
He has a track record where he makes it difficult on Gus Bradley, or I'm sorry, on Patrick Mahomes. And also another funny thing is we talked about, week 5 when the Raiders, pulled out that win against the Chiefs. Okay. We came on the podcast and I talked to you guys about the coverage that the Raiders used to take away Patrick Mahomes' options. Okay, where they were playing quarters to the front side, they were playing straight man on the backside, and that backside safety was poaching the 3 vertical. Okay, when I went through Gus Bradley's tape against Patrick Mahomes, that was like I think the very first third down call was that exact coverage, and they played them week 2. So Paul Guenther, he doesn't get credit for originating that, and the even better part, because they held the Chiefs to like 23 points in that game, right? And it was like last second they ended up losing it, even though Herbert had a pretty solid game. Whereas the Raiders had a similar game plan, but the Chiefs still scored like 33 against them, right?
Yep.
That kind of idea where, okay, we're going to take away the backside, the number 3 vertical with the backside safety. He did that in cover 1. He did that in cover 6. He did that in cover 3, a few different ways. So he was a lot more varied in that approach. Whereas Paul Guenther just had that one play call that he just used over and over and over and over again, right? So I think you're just going to see like just the game planning is going to be such a higher notch above. And the benefit of him coaching in this cover 3, okay, for so long now, all right, since the early Seattle days, all the time in Jacksonville, all the time with the Chargers, and then now, is that he knows the techniques that everyone needs to execute. Okay, there's a system that everyone needs to do. Whereas if you look at Paul Guenther, it's like, okay, we're playing man sometimes, we're going to play zone sometimes, we're going to play cover 2. There's all these different techniques that everyone needs to get and execute, because you're in the NFL, so you have to do it at a high level, right? Whereas now this is going to get a lot simpler for guys. They're just going to need to learn how to play cover 3 and maybe some designer coverages on 3rd and longs. So that's why everyone says this is simpler and it makes guys play faster. Okay. Plus you have a coach that actually knows how to teach the techniques that he wants guys to use in this system. Okay. And then the last thing I'll say is, well, actually I have a couple things, if you don't mind. So a lot of people are talking about,
okay, go ahead.
Let's bring in like Earl Thomas or Richard Sherman, because they know the scheme. Okay. The reason why this scheme works is because young players, the defensive coordinator is mixing and matching them, but they're all doing the same thing. So it's easy for them to know and play fast, but it looks different on any given down. Okay. So it makes it a little more confusing for the quarterback, especially younger quarterbacks that go up against this kind of defense. But then the DBs, their role is simplified. Okay. So that's why you see continually young DBs in Gus Bradley's system play really well. He does not need a veteran. It's not one of those defenses where it's like, okay, this is super complicated, so we need a guy who's been in the league for a long time. It's not like that. The Raiders don't need Earl Thomas. They don't need Richard Sherman. Okay, they could probably be fine with drafting a guy, a rookie safety, seeing a lot of playing time, or getting a relatively young rookie or a free agent safety on the back end. I think the Raiders would be fine with that. I think it would work out just fine. And then the other thing is, Bradley is a 4-3 under coach. Okay, so. And the Raiders were a 4-3 over front, meaning their 3 technique, the guy who lines up outside of the guard would line up to the tight end side. Okay. In Gus Bradley's base defense, especially if they're getting into like base personnel, 4-3 personnel, that 3 technique is going to be outside the guard, away from the tight end. Okay. And then you're going to have a defensive end line up inside of the tight end, head up on the tackle, maybe outside shade of the tackle. Okay. That is exactly what Cleveland Ferrell is, right? He's a heavy defensive end. He's a run stopping defensive end. Okay. He's not a wide 9 defensive end. Right. So I do think that's going to help him out. I think that's
I think so too.
That's the role that Michael Bennett played for Gus Bradley, right? In Seattle, he was that 5 technique, right? Where he had an an outside linebacker on the line outside of him setting the edge, and he was, disruptor. He made a lot happen. And then on third downs, Michael Bennett slid down and played 3 technique as a rusher, right? So I think, and I think I'm pretty sure I went on record. I said this somewhere on some podcast that that's the trajectory that I think people need to hope for, is that Cleveland Ferrell turns into like a Michael Bennett type of player. And what better coach to bring it out of him now, scheme wise, than Gus Bradley? So I do think that some of this is going to work on the defensive line. I think Maurice Hurst is going to be fine. I think Max Crosby is going to be fine. And so hopefully there's no philosophical difference between Marinelli and Bradley, and we see their best play yet next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, because everything you're saying is like why I think this move makes sense. It's because I really think that they're not going to spend that much money in free agency. And I think that's kind of what the setup is. They're like, okay, they evaluated their team. Okay, so we got all these young guys, right? We drafted a lot of these guys. And is it the coaching? Is it the coaching for us? Or are they just not good? I mean, maybe it's time to find out. Let's change the coach. Let's see what's going on. And if these guys aren't good with the new coach, then we know. You know what I mean? Like that's what I feel like it's kind of happening. But I still think they do need a safety. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, I don't know if they want to. I don't know if they could draft one at 17. I don't know if there really is a guy at 17 that's going to come in there and be an impact day one at safety. I mean, we'll do more evaluation and figure that out. But
right,
what I'm saying. But that's going to be the tough part is finding some good players. I don't know. Maybe get some cheap guys. I don't know that could come in and play really fast. And who are maybe familiar with the system. I don't know. I mean, that's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to try to figure that out because they're not gonna have a lot of money to spend. Like the Leonard Williams, that those dudes is not coming over here. Like I mean, Leonard Williams is gonna get like 19, 20 mil. Like so I don't know how the Raiders will be able to pay that.
I feel like he's too old for that.
Over the cap.
I feel like he's too old to get that much, but he's definitely getting north of 15.
He will.
Yeah. He had a great year.
He's gonna get a lot. He's gonna get.
Raiders missed out.
If he is the market, if he is to get,
they could have had him for cheap last year.
They could have. But that is true. But they did miss out on that one. That's a good point. They didn't do any trades last year. That's what they need to do too. Maybe they need to trade somebody. I don't know. They need to trade for somebody. They need to do something to take this defense over the top because they're not going to be able to. I don't know in free agency if they're going to get any of these guys like Marcus May. Like he just had a big year. He's hitting the market. I mean, how much is he going to get? Like is he gonna be like, I want Budda Baker money?
Safeties are very like if they hit free agency, they don't get paid well. Like these safeties, man. You sit around and you watch like guys like Trey Boston. Like he leads the NFL in picks, and then like 2 years later he's a free agent and like no one wants him. You know what I'm saying? Like these safeties, like they get undervalued hard. That sucks to be a safety. Like you want to be a corner or a defensive end. Everyone else, you are getting lowballed, hard body out here. So maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
But I like Marcus May. I think Marcus May is a fantastic player. Yeah. But we'll see what his market looks like.
That is true. They don't even put safeties in the Hall of Fame. So you got a good point there.
You got to be all-timer.
They don't, bro. You got to be all-timer. Look at Steve Atwater. It took him like 10 years, bro.
Right.
I used to watch that guy as a kid just destroy people. And, it took him like 10 years to get in. So,
yeah.
You're right there. You're right there about the undervalue of safety. That's why I don't think they would draft a safety at 17 too. That's why, the safety search is going to be tough because you can't. I guess you could try out Jeff Heath out there. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He wasn't bad. He's ran the system with Chris Richard. You know what I mean? He ran it and he wasn't bad in it there. But that's just not exciting. Throwing Jeff out there, it's just not exciting at all. But maybe he could do it, man. He didn't play that bad in Gunther's, and that's what I'm saying. He played this, so that might be something they're thinking too. Like we got Jeff Heath, if he likes Jeff Heath, I don't know. I'm just trying to tell fans, like, if you guys are like are expecting this like this super big time free agency, like cutting Trent Brown to sign Taylor Moton, you're out of your mind. Because Taylor Moton's getting 19-18. He is. You see how much Trent Brown got? Look at me. I try hard every single play. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he's gonna, you know.
I'm in shape.
Taylor Moton's he's getting like 20 mil, and you ain't getting no Taylor Moton. So if you get rid of
Yeah.
Trent, you're getting you know, you're getting some right tackle you guys have never heard of. He's gonna
Right.
be out there. You get another Sam Young type of guy, and you don't want to do that. See, that's the issue that they're in. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
But I
interesting
think
offseason.
that's the draw. That's the draw of Gus Bradley. He gets a lot out of young players.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, I think they are gonna roll with draft picks. You know.
I think so. I think so too, bro.
And if
No.
Jeff Heath is the starting safety, week 1, okay, that means Jonathan Abram is a free safety. Just so everyone understands this, okay? Because in Dallas, in the same exact scheme,
Yeah.
Jeff Heath was a strong safety. He played in the box.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
You're
he
right.
was rare. It was rare that he was in the post as a deep safety. So if Jeff Heath is the starter, okay, Jonathan Abram is the deep safety. I know a lot of people to this day have been talking about Jonathan Abram. He sucks deep. He needs to be in the box and everything like that. But yeah, like he's like the only guy to play deep safety on the roster that's like a viable option, right? So unless they
He didn't do it that bad when he did it. That's that's all I think. That's
Like,
what
you're
I think.
right. And guys,
He has some good deep safety plays.
we talked about this. We talked about this, and the tape doesn't lie. But there's a narrative right now that Jonathan Abrams sucks as a deep safety. I just say when he executes his coverage and he doesn't leave his coverage assignment, I think he'll be fine out there. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he did have some good deep safety plays against the Chiefs when they won that game.
And the Saints.
People just it's people fit in the narratives. Yeah, and the Saints. People just fit in the narratives. That's why I don't, because that's where I think he should be. They just let him play. I mean, let him play out there so he can run around and try to make some plays. You know what I mean? And sometimes maybe he'll miss sometimes, and where he's not in the box trying to take on tackles and stuff. Just like let him, get some, try to be whatever he wants to do, back there. But he has the speed though to play that safety at the top, like where he would not allow people to get over top of him. So,
Right.
We'll see though. We'll see. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Gus is probably going to think the same way that we're thinking too. I'm not saying that we're experts. I'm just saying. I'm just taking a guess. Just taking a guess, Doc.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to add on Gus Bradley before we get into top plays?
No, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna talk about him all off season.
Really,
so don't worry. If you didn't hear enough of us going back and forth,
you know what I mean? Like I was I was thinking about draft picks that they should look at with this happening, and I do think that they still should add an edge rusher. I think, and just talking draft. Let's just talk draft, just real quick, little draft. I just hope they don't reach on a defense tackle. I know like Christian Barmore is like really hot right now, but I just hope they don't reach on a defense tackle. I don't think there's, in my opinion, right now, just 17 is a little steep for a defense tackle right now. Maybe he turns out to be awesome, that guy you take there, but it'll be a little steep. And I think if you go defense there's so many good edge rushers in this draft that you can get Joseph Asai there from Texas at 17, and I think that dude's gonna be a stud. So, and he plays the run. He sets the edge. He plays the run. He's only played defensive end 1 year. He was outside linebacker for the first 2 seasons he played at Texas. Last year, this is his first year at defensive end. He sets the edge like he's been playing it for years. And you know what I'm saying? And he has pass rush skills. And he's 250. He's 6'3".
6'3".
250.
Well, see now
he's nice.
now here, okay. 4-3 under. That means you got 5 guys across the defensive line. You got that walk up rush linebacker outside of that 5 technique defensive end, right? So in
Mm.
base, someone like a Joseph Asai, okay, can play
Yeah,
that Sam linebacker on first downs. And then if
yeah, he can.
Cleveland Furl bumps down to 3 technique, then you have Joseph Asai putting his hand in the dirt and rushing. Okay, Max Crosby on the other side, Maurice Hurst. That sounds fun to me. I'm not mad at that. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
I like that. I think that I was pushing for them to draft a guy like Zach Vaughn last year, Caleb Von Chase on these kind of guys who are like they could play Sam linebacker and an underfront. They can rush the edge. They can cover a little bit. I think that those are hard guys to come across. So get him.
yeah,
It's harder for a guy like that to pan out than it is for say like um, you know, like there's plenty of safeties right now in the NFL that are playing really well. They were like second, third, fourth round picks. You know,
hmm
like what round pick was Justin Simmons? Justin Reed from Houston. There's
John
some
Johnson, the Rams.
John Johnson, the Rams, Marcus May. Like these guys are good. They can play really well. You can get a second or a third round safety and they can play really well. So yes, they need to
Yeah,
go defensive line, someone that can affect the passer. I don't care if it's an interior guy. I don't care if it's a edge guy. Get another guy there. You got to get those guys. And the Raiders just haven't had enough production to warrant us saying, well, yeah, maybe Marinelli could figure it out with what he has right now. Just no, just throw another guy in there. They're hard to come by. So
yeah,
just go for it.
100%, bro. Because then you could just land somebody that could be a stud too, and then you got a bunch of studs. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Crosby and Farrell's are under contract for a little bit, so and then you got to decide you whether keep Farrell for his 5th year option after next year. So it's you bring in somebody that can get to the passer, bro. That's what they need. They need somebody who can get to the passer as quickly as possible, like quick. I mean, none of this like 3 second sacks thing. We need 2.5 second sacks. We need somebody that can get to the yeah. You know what I mean?
All right.
So all right, let's get to these top plays, man, so we can
All right.
get out of here.
Okay, so yeah, the last segment of the day, Marcus and I we're gonna go over our top 5 favorite plays. I'm gonna do defense. From the Raiders season, obviously, Marcus is gonna do offense. So if you don't mind, I'll just go right into my defense right here. Top
Okay.
5 Raiders plays. 2020. Okay. Number 5 is the 4th down stop versus Carolina. Okay, the game is on the line here. Got to stop them. They needed a 4th down stop. I put this at number 5. I think this is a great play. First, look at Cleveland Furl. He's gonna snap this tight end's head back, get full extension. Rip through that block, get in there on the tackle. Okay. Also, watch Jonathan Hankins. He's going to take on this double team, and these guys, okay, they're hip to hip, and this one man is pushing them backwards. Okay, they can't even get any space. Like that's a rare type of guy, Jonathan Hankins, who can do that. Gotta love that play to close the game out right there, week 1. Next one is the first half interception against New Orleans. Okay, so this time it's Nicholas Morrow comes up with the interception here. They are playing cover 3. Okay, maybe.
I was just saying cover 3 Mable.
Yeah, right. Okay, Corey Littleton. He carries number 3 vertical. He's the weak cook player, so he's going to carry number 3 vertical. Allows Nicholas Morrow to just sit there in the passing lane. Okay, pick off Drew Brees. So even a Drew Brees isn't perfect against cover 3, and the unsung hero of this play is incredible pass rush rep from Maurice Hurst there, to prevent Drew Brees from stepping into the pocket and putting everything that he wanted on that ball. Okay, now number 3 for me is the fumble recovery against Cleveland. Okay, we're gonna watch Nick Witkowski here. He's reading the run action. He gets on his horse. He realizes that it's a screen the other way. Tackles the guy, punches the ball out. Raiders recover. They fall on it. Okay. But also watch Corey Littleton here. Okay. Corey Littleton, he sees the screen. Okay. And what does he do? He gets outside, forces this ball carrier to run up those numbers right into Nick Kwiatkowski. Okay. If he doesn't do that and the guy goes outside, who knows what would have happened? I think that's a big catalyst in the defensive performance winning that game in Cleveland. Number two, um, the number two is the pick against Kansas City. Okay. Obviously, like you gotta love this play. All right, it's against Kansas City. Raiders won it. Okay, there was a last minute desperate tackle by Patrick Mahomes. Come on, bro, you can't get tackled by the quarterback here. Okay, and real quick, look at Cleveland Farrell. Okay, going up against Eric Fisher here, gets the long arm, walks him back. Okay, provides some pressure, and when you dream about getting an interception, that's what it looks like when you're a kid. Okay, literally making dreams come true here, Jeff Heath. All right. So that's a great all around defensive performance. Now, all of these so far have been the result of multiple defenders, but my number one is the back to back pass breakups. Isaiah Johnson, he's all by himself. The ball's out quick. There's nothing anyone else can do. It's just man to man, gut check time. Okay. They put a jump ball specialist, Mike Williams, out there. Okay. And he fights to the finish and knocks the ball out, knocks Mike Williams out of the game. And how disrespectful is it that they go right back to him? They put a 6'8" tight end out there. Okay. Okay. And again, there's no pass rush. There's nothing. The ball's out so quick. It's just on Isaiah Johnson to close the game out. And he does it. And two plays in a row, shows a lot of heart, shows a lot of moxie there. So that's why that's my number one defensive play from the Raiders this year.
That was impressive, man. That's like some highlight stuff right there. That was impressive.
Did I miss any? What do you think?
No, that was impressive, bro. It's like some.
That was probably it. There's probably like maybe two more. I'm playing, but yeah, like, and again, most of those, yeah, Nicholas Morrow got an interception, but Maurice Hurst got the pressure. Nick Kwiatkowski punched the ball out, but it's a team forcing the ball carrier his way. Someone else has to jump on the ball, right? A lot of these things are like a team effort, but man, Isaiah Johnson, like he had no help. That was just like, you just got to make a play, baby. And he makes two at the end of the game to close that game out. So that's why he gets my number one. And I'm very excited what Gus Bradley will do with him after what he did with Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner in Seattle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, because I remember shout out to my dude Matty Brown. We were at the Senior Bowl and Isaiah Johnson was there, and that's why Matty wanted him, because he knew that he would fit the Seattle system. He knew that's exactly what the Seattle system wanted, and he knew that's what Isaiah Johnson fits. And here it comes. That's what I was like saying earlier. Like, Damon Arnett, bro, watch you better watch out, dog. Isaiah Johnson has a great camp, man. That's gonna be his job.
Right.
For sure. Right. I think so. There's a great chance. There's a great chance there. Yeah. All right. So let's get, I did a little different, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do top 5 plays, I definitely did top 5 play designs. So you can switch it up. You guys got your top 10 plays from NFL.com. Y'all argued over it. Derek Carr, underthrows or whatever. Underthrows, was it? So you guys already had your little argument there. So we'll go over here to top 5 play designs. All right. So you're just gonna go with some great play designs that I saw all year. Some of my favorites, some things John Gruden cooked up. So we'll start off number 5, which is touchdown to Nelson Aguilar against the Chiefs, which you got a little variation of the Yankee here. But we're going to talk about this motion in a second off this great play design and what it does to this defense and their rules, right? So we'll go ahead and watch it. You just watch the play real quick. It's just beautiful. Right to Nelson Aguilar. Touchdown, Nelson Aguilar. Right on his boy. He did that to Tyrann Mathieu a couple years before that. So it was just like a flashback. We'll talk about it now a little more in depth. So we got the dig route from Darren Waller. We got the post route from Nelson Aguilar. But I want you to watch what Henry Ruggs does to this defense, right? So what Henry Ruggs does is he takes the corner, right? So he takes the corner. Since the corner's got him, it creates a one-on-one with Nelson Aguilar and Tyrann Matthew, and that's just easy money, right? And it just messed with all the rules in the little man match they be trying to do every single week. It messed with all the rules. One man goes out. That was a great play design by John. John know those rules, and he messed with them. Now we got to go to my favorite John Gruden play, number 4. It's the mesh wheel. The mesh wheel is the best play that John be calling. I love this play. It works so well, and they executed so well. Uh, Derek Carr missed it in the Dolphins game. I showed that on that first third down, but that was a touchdown too. And he loves to dial up this play. So you see it here, the mesh wheel, and then the Chiefs are sending a blitz, right? And it's gonna leave man-to-man coverage. This, Derek Carr was so patient on this, just patience, and you see it. They basically slap hands, right? Leaves a wide open gap there. Boom.
Love it.
Beautiful play. Love the mesh wheel. I love it. Love that play, man. That was, John probably got that from college too. So, he's definitely been watching some stuff, right? And this is the blitz. Derek Carr, he knows it. He knows he's got it. Made some time, threw a dime off his back foot. Beautiful stuff, man. It was just great, right? And this is one, a lot of people don't talk about. I love this play call right here. It's just what it does to this defense, right? You got the out nubs and the little post route kind of seam vertical, puts them in a bind, right? For their cover 3 principles. I talk about this play a little bit, what Derek Carr does with his eyes, but this is one of my favorite plays. This is number 3, right? Because you got Ruggs in the vertical, and then you get the out and up from Aguilar, right? And this to me, so these next couple plays I'm gonna show guys, this to me is why we gotta have Ruggs and Aguilar together still. Because just the speed that they put and the pressure they put on defenses. Like, who are you taking? Where are you going? You know what I mean? And just the pressure that they put on this little on the cover 3 that they were running. Right, it played with all their principles, right? Because TJ Carey, he thought that it was an out route. He thought Kenny Moore was going to take him out in the flat, but so then he went with Ruggs when he saw Derek Carr's eyes go to Ruggs. Money. He goes right back to him, right behind him. So this is just beautiful stuff. Derek Carr throws a dime, beautiful, right on the money, beautiful play. I just love this play call, and this is a play call that I really love that we saw from in the Broncos game that led to, Denzel Aguilar should have walked that in, but led to a play. But, John, he was digging into a little bit of, he's Steve Sarkisian. Oh, that's the same play right there. So I was like, oh, John's, doing the dimes right there and messing up with that. But he came back right here with the same kind of concept, same play action, on the verticals, and a little bit of a dig route there, but it was just beautiful stuff on this one. Dime. I love this play design. Just left Nelson Aguilar wide open. You can make the case where, Mac Jones should have gone with that ball, but Derek Carr definitely made the right decision on this one. Love this one. Love this play. I still don't. Why did he fall, man? I can't. Do you know why he fell? I don't know why he fell there. All right. This is my honorable mention. This play design right here is just a heartbreaker because I just love this. Is like the fake Yankee.
Yeah.
Honorable mention. It was just beautiful. Beautiful stuff, man.
The fake Yankee. Why did they bring that out so early in the year too? Like,
right? That's what John's got to learn. That is like, if you guys get to throw deep early in the year like this, like, let's throw short later on. You know what I mean? Let's mix it up. But my favorite play design, it goes to the run game. And a little bit of what we call the arc read, which I was just so impressed that John busted this out with Marcus Mariota. This is my number 1 play design for him because, John, I'm just proud of you that you came up with the arc read. You know what I'm saying? Like, you went deep into college playbook. You went deep into some stuff. I don't know what you looked at on the sideline, man, but you hit the arc read with Marcus Mariota. So it makes you think, man, if you got a zone read guy, maybe you wouldn't be too bad, man. You went too bad. You went to the deep into the crates, man, the college football. So, I do want to kind of show like what he's been doing in the college game too. I think John's really been on his grind there with the college game. So it's really, really impressive stuff. You know what I mean? So I really feel like he's been on his grind, trying to get these play designs. I think, but he needs I don't know, this week he needs to go to the red zone. I don't know where he needs to find a red zone designer, but he's been cooking a little bit. I mean, it's not the same offense that they were running in 2000. I mean, it might be in the red zone. That's my problem, and he needs to figure that out. He needs to figure out the red zone bad. He needs to really take a look at himself, you know, and figure out what's going on there and some of the play designs that he has. Maybe he needs to do some more misdirections. Maybe he needs to move players around more. Maybe he needs to do more, crossing patterns to create more picks down there. I don't know. He's got to figure that out. But
yeah. Well,
it's top 5 play designs.
My favorite is definitely your honorable mention, the fake Yankee. That's the best, man. My goodness.
Yeah, that was giving my number one. I was giving my number one, but I was like, it didn't count, so it just sucks. So
yeah,
but I went with the arc. I just liked that he went with the arc read right there, man. That was pretty impressive that he dug in there, and who know that he even knew that play existed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of coaches, they don't. How many offensive coaches that come from like the old school just bust out the arc read like that? You know what I mean? So it was impressive for him to do that.
I know that Darren Waller's job is he's supposed to come around and look for someone coming back inside. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have to think if he just ran straight to that safety, that's a tub,
touchdown. Oh man, but the fans would have been going crazy. They'd have been going nuts to try to get rid of Carr like the next day.
Yeah. Right.
He would have ran that at 80 yards, bro.
Right.
Oh man, because that was I mean, it was set up that way. That was
if Marcus Mariota got into the open field, ESPN Next Gen Stats would be like, oh, he's the third fastest quarterback this year, and people would have been like hanging, We would never hear this end of it. Never heard the end of it for sure.
No. Could Derek Carr do this? Like you would have been seeing that all damn off season. So
that's funny. All right, well, that's it for me, man. Any last thoughts here? Parting thoughts before we get out of here?
No, man. No, nothing parting ways.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, Raiders fans, we're not done here. Okay, we're gonna keep on giving you content. I know that there was a little bit of a delay or lag since our last video.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. A lot of people have been hitting me up saying, "Are we going to talk about Gus Bradley?" We're going to keep on talking about Gus Bradley. We're going to talk about draft picks. So stay tuned. Okay. Make sure you hit subscribe so you get notified when we do come out with a new video. Much love, Raider Nation. Follow my guy, Marcus Johnson, at the Mark John NFL on Twitter. He's the offense guy. Follow me at BD Williams 18 on Twitter. We've been, breaking down some things, showing some video clips on that website as well. So make sure you follow us for some exclusive content there. And leave some comments in the comment section, things that you want us to look at, maybe some draft picks or draft prospects that you think we should, take a look at. We read the comments. Sure. We try to read the comments and, definitely give us some feedback, guys. All right.
Yeah. We out, man.
That's it, Raider Nation. Take care, bro.
See ya.